Okay, so good evening, participants. Let's get started with our lecture of today, composed by the two models. So welcome to the 9th and 10th lessons of the Master in Innovation Management of Ascheri Academy. This is our last lecture, unfortunately. So, as always, I hope that you will find my lecture very enjoyable, entertaining, and especially instructive. In the module 9, we will study cloud manufacturing, entailed as the evolution of production processes. The first caveat that I have to specify with you is that the key technology that constitutes the core of the entire cloud manufacturing is the technology of cloud computing. So it's essential, firstly, to speak about the technology of cloud computing, to explain what it entails, and then we can proceed with the explanation of cloud manufacturing. So cloud computing is the delivery of computing services such as servers, data storage, databases, networks, softwares, data analytics, and business intelligence over the internet, so over the cloud, in order to offer flexible resources, faster innovation, and the possibility of scaling the economy of a company. In simpler terms, we can say that instead of owning heavy and expensive data centers, data infrastructures, for example, organizations can rent access to someone else's infrastructure, like storage, computing servers, and databases, as we were saying, from a cloud computing service provider. And in this way, they can only pay for the resources that they actually use. Practically speaking, this signifies that you only need to pay for the real cloud services that you use. And in this way, your business will be helped in lowering the operating costs. The complete infrastructure will run more efficiently, and you can scale your applications as per business needs. But let's explain very simply, how does cloud computing work? When talking about a cloud computing system, it's very helpful to divide the structure into two sections: the front end and the back end. They connect to each other through a network that is the internet. The front end is the side of the computer user, so the side their client can see. The back end is the cloud section of the entire system. So, for explaining better, the front end includes the client's computer or the computer network that is intended to function or to be functioned by the cloud technology, and the application required to access the cloud system. Not all cloud computing systems have the same user interface. For example, services like web-based email programs leverage existing web browsers, like, for instance, Internet Explorer or Firefox. But other systems have unique applications that provide the access to the network for clients. On the back end of the system, there are various computers, various servers, and we can say wide data storage capacity that in its entirety create the cloud of the computing services. So in theory, a cloud computing system could include practically any computer program that you can imagine, from a complex data processing system to simpler video games. And usually each application will have its own dedicated server. A central server administers the entire system, monitors the traffic and client demands, in order to be sure that everything runs smoothly. So it follows a set of rules called protocols and utilizes a special kind of software that is called middleware. So this instrument, this middleware, allows network computers to communicate with each other. In order to better understand, to precisely understand this complex articulation, you can, in fact, you can see the arrangement, the IT arrangement on the left of the slide, and you will immediately comprehend the correct arrangement of the cloud computing system that is divided between this backend and front end. Another beautiful capacity of this system is the server virtualization. Also in this area, we can say that it serves for maximizing the output of individual servers, and in fact, the server virtualization reduces the need for more physical machines. So instead of buying, owning, and maintaining physical machines in your company, you can virtualize your machine, your server, and you can use the server of the cloud computing company. So this is a great instrument of saving costs for firms, and it's practically offered by the cloud computing. This is a simple picture that resumes the four types of cloud computing service up to now offered. The first type is the software as a service. For the software as a service, we intend ready-use product. So the cloud computing company will offer the all-inclusive packet, we can say, to your company, because the infrastructure, the platform, and the software will be used in a ready way. We can also mention some examples of this software as a service, like Salesforce, Microsoft 365, Dropbox, and the well-known Amazon Web Services. The second type of cloud computing service is the platform as a service. In this case, the cloud company will provide to the firm, to the client, will provide the components for constructing the software. So it will offer the infrastructure, but also the components of the software that the developers of the client will establish, will use for their scope. Some examples of the platform as a service, we can quote Microsoft Azure, Google App Engine, SQL Azure, and AWS Elastic. The third kind of the cloud service is the infrastructure as a service. In this case, you don't have to possess, you don't have to possess and maintain all the infrastructure of the IT environment, like data storage, servers, machines, and other physical tools, because these tools will be provided to you by the cloud service company in a business model that we can say that is a rent model, pay per go model. The other service you will develop it in a autonomous way. Some examples of the infrastructure as a service could be Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and Magento 1, for example. The fourth kind of cloud service is the unified communications as a service. With this rent service, we can say, provided by the cloud vendor, in a unique interface, you will find the possibility of sharing files, sharing documents, making calls for work, sharing remotely remote workplaces, for example. So this is a very diffused cloud service, especially today, and especially after the explosion of the pandemic, that we normally use. We use today also this kind of technology. And some examples that we can cite for this goal is Zoom, is Microsoft Teams, or Google Hangouts. So some basic advantages of this kind of technology, of the cloud computing. What are they? The first advantage is the possibility of making frequent backup, and also the possibility of restoring, of recovering data in case of data breach or data, for example, cancellation, data delete, for example. So a very beautiful possibility offered by this kind of technology. The second advantage is the possibility of improving collaboration between team workers, between partners, between companies. The third advantage is the excellent accessibility, because the firm can focus on their core business. The access to the unique IT tools or unique applications is not offered by the firm, but is offered by a company that is specialized in providing this kind of service. So excellent accessibility. Also, the low maintenance cost could be mentioned like an advantage, because you can imagine that you have not to buy, to possess, and to maintain and to repair all the data storage, servers, machines, and so on, because they are the tasks of the cloud provider. The other advantage is the mobility of workers, but also mobility in terms of data. The other advantage is the business model based on the services that you pay per use, as we were saying. So you pay exactly for the services that you use and no more. The other advantage is the unlimited storage capacity. Unlimited because the firm is not limited by its physical space, its physical available space, but it uses the space of someone else, no? The space of the cloud provider. So theoretically, there is this unlimited possibility in terms of storage capacity. The last advantage is the data security. In fact, in the companies of cloud computing services, there are specialized experts in data security, cyber experts in that fight against the data breaches. So in a certain sense, you can be relieved to say to know that there are experts that work in this kind of company, especially for this scope, for maintaining your data secure. There are also some disadvantages of this kind of technology. The first disadvantage is the internet connectivity. And it's self-evident, because if you cannot access internet, you don't have access to all the programs, all the applications that you normally use for your companies, for your business. The second disadvantage, it comes to the picture when there are many firms that access that access the cloud at the same moment. Very infrequent, but it's possible. In this case, we will have lower bandwidth, and also it can affect the speed of data uploaded, data transferred, or data used. This is a problem that can arise. The other aspect that could be in strict consideration is the security issues. We have already explained this aspect, and also another aspect to be kept in consideration is the agreement, in the sense that insofar there is no standard way of closing contracts with the cloud computing providers. So sometimes there are clauses a little bit expensive or negative that tend to bond the last company, no? the client. Other disadvantages of this kind of technology could be the lack of support. For example, you may find that there are not so many persons available to speak directly with you about your issues. And there is also the possibility of high variation in the cost of the service provided. But let's watch this explanatory video. It's a video of Amazon Web Services, so it's perfect for explain the cloud computing technology.
Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources via the internet, with pay-as-you-go pricing. Instead of buying, owning, and maintaining physical data centers and servers, you can access technology services such as computing power, storage, and databases on an as-needed basis from a cloud provider like Amazon Web Services. Organizations of every type, size, and industry are using the cloud for a wide variety of use cases, such as data backup, disaster recovery, email, virtual desktops, software development and testing, big data analytics, and customer-facing web applications. For example, healthcare companies are using the cloud to develop more personalized treatments for patients. Financial services companies are using the cloud to power real-time fraud detection and prevention. And video game makers are using the cloud to deliver online games to millions of players around the world. With cloud computing, your business can become more agile, reduce costs, instantly scale, and deploy globally in minutes. Cloud computing gives you instant access to a broad range of technologies so you can innovate faster and build nearly anything you can imagine. From infrastructure services such as compute, storage, and databases, to Internet of Things, machine learning, data analytics, and much more. You can deploy technology services in a matter of minutes and get from idea to implementation several orders of magnitude faster than before. This gives you the freedom to experiment and test new ideas to differentiate customer experiences and transform your business, such as adding machine learning and intelligence to your applications in order to personalize experiences for your customers and improve their engagement. You don't need to make large upfront investments in hardware and overpay for capacity you don't use. Instead, you can trade capital expense for variable expense and only pay for IT as you consume it. With cloud computing, you access resources from the cloud in real time, as they're needed. You can scale these resources up and down to grow or shrink capacity instantly as your business needs change. Cloud computing also makes it easy to expand to new regions and deploy globally in minutes. For example, Amazon Web Services has infrastructure all over the world, so you're able to deploy your application in multiple physical locations in just a few clicks. Putting applications in closer proximity to end users reduces latency and improves their experience. No matter your location, size, or industry, the cloud frees you from managing infrastructure and data centers so you can focus on what matters most to your business.
Okay, so this video, I think that has beautifully resumed all my discussion, all my explanations. The essential point is that you can save expenditures because you don't have to buy, maintain, and repair IT infrastructure, but instead you can rent, you can pay for usage another company when you need this kind of IT services. So you can concentrate as a firm, as a company, you can concentrate on your core business and make the expenditure, reserve those expenditures for growing your business. Now that we have explained the essential points of the cloud computing technology, we can deepen the notion, the framework of cloud manufacturing. Cloud manufacturing is the process of utilizing well-established manufacturing resources, such as enterprise resource planning, through the cloud. In this way, the information can be viewed, updated, and applied at any time or any place. Cloud manufacturing was intended to handle big manufacturing, which means it follows the whole manufacturing process from the designing stage to the production to the maintenance. So cloud manufacturing helps businesses unleash themselves so that they can reach new heights and faster than ever. For some manufacturers, the idea of unplugging, of unleashing, makes them feel uneasy because there is this problem of accessing information of the organization. So there is the danger that also third-party personnel can access data from anywhere and anytime. So there is the peril of some unwanted eyes that could sneak a peek at sensitive information. So this is a genuine concern, it's a real preoccupation, but cloud experts are confident that the cloud technology is just as safe as other on-premise programs. Administrators still have complete control as to who can see what is in the cloud, what resides in the cloud. So everyone can see everything, but only through the permission. So for the greater concern, very important in these days, that hackers could get in, there are also many cloud service vendors that provide 24-hour security services in order to watch out for any potential security breaches and fraudulent code. This is the first one of the first picture that I took from an academic paper, and in this lesson we will see many figures, many pictures that I have taken from academic literature. Anyway, in this timeline, we can observe the evolution of manufacturing systems through history. For example, in the 20th century, for the 20th century, we can recollect the basic assembly line with its reduced labor costs and with increased production rate. In the 1960s, we can recollect the Toyota production systems, so the new production systems experimented in the Toyota company in Japan. Thanks to these new systems, we observed reduced waste of overproduction, reduced waiting time, reduced defective products, and also a sense of continuous improvement, not only in the operations management aspect, but also a sense of continuous improvements of workers too. And we can resume this Japanese philosophy by quoting the Kaizen philosophy. So if you want to deepen this very interesting topic, I suggest you to check the Kaizen continuous improvement philosophy. In the 1980s, we had the first flexible manufacturing system, and it was responsible for reducing inventories for improving also productivity and system reliability. We had an improvement in the variety of parts produced. We have an improvement in the utilization of machines, and also a greater responsiveness to changes in the domain of engineering. In the 1990s, we assisted to the origin, to the birth of the reconfigurable manufacturing system. And thanks to the RMS, we had an increased responsiveness to market changes. We assisted to reduce time that is required for making changes to products. We had the reduction of lead time needed for launching new manufacturing systems, and also a rapid upgrading and quick integration of new technology in the manufacturing domain. The last stage of this manufacturing evolution is the stage that we are living today, in which we are living today, from the 2010, around 2010, and it's the era of cloud-based manufacturing systems. It permits a rapid elasticity, reduced time to market, reduced costs. It permits an ubiquitous computing environment. It pools all the manufacturing resources. It improves the possibility of sharing information. It ameliorates the reuse of resources, and also it improves the utilization of machines. This is another picture that I took from this paper called An Overview of Cloud Implementation in the Manufacturing Process Life Cycle. It's rich in diagrams and little symbols. Don't worry, because it's not the focus of my lesson. The important part of this slide is that you observe that the cloud manufacturing, from a strategic point of view, could be divided into 3 layers. The first layer is the layer of customers, of users, intended as, for example, big companies, or also groups of individuals, or single customer, for example. The second layer, the intermediate layer, is the layer of the cloud vendor. So in this stage, in this environment, all the services, all the cloud services are provided to the last consumer, for example, and all the data are stored, and also all the unique applications are created, are developed, and are finally put into the market. In the third layer, you see the symbols that regard the factory, some general factories. So this environment of manufactories is called the physical resource providers. So it's an environment formed by the physical resource providers, and in this sense, this environment made by factories could be transformed in a very collaborative and cooperative climate of shared resources, shared knowledge, or know-how. And all these passages from the first layer to the second and then the third layer, all the passages are permitted through the continuous exchange of needs, of information, of data, and of feedback. This is another beautiful framework that I took from another academic paper. This paper is called the Industry 5.0, a survey on enabling technologies and potential applications. So the beautiful aspect that I want to stress in this image is that you can, for example, you can see two different flagships, no, of India and of China. So first, the first beautiful thing that you can observe is that you can imagine is that this kind of technology, this kind, we can say, of ecosystem, cloud manufacturing ecosystem, permits to build a very transnational environment. In our example, we have the Indian manufacturing plant on the left side and the Chinese manufacturing plant on the right side. These manufacturing plants are connected to the cloud, so they share with the cloud data feeding, data scheduling, service quality assessment, and monitoring, and they also take again other elaborations, other data elaborations that, for example, could regard the design, the other stages of scheduling, for example, and also the conditions of transport, of logistics, of international shipping. Another important point that is stressed in this ecosystem, in this international framework, is that the cloud permits the intellectual property management because data are secured in the cloud. This is another framework, the cloud manufacturing framework for smart manufacturing networks, because we have to remember that all these technologies, all these possibilities of sharing resources, knowledge, know-how, and so on, creates a very smart network between customers and cloud vendor, between cloud vendor and suppliers, for example, international suppliers. In this cloud manufacturing platform, so in this special kind of cloud platform, we can observe the position of database, of intelligent assessment, and also all the modules related to a better decision making. In this slide, practically we observe the previous framework with some points that are exploded better for our comprehension. In fact, in the cloud platform, we observe the database with the customer instance data and also the data that regard the supplier instance. In the element that concerns the intelligent assessment and the optimization module, we observe the compatibility assessment, the optimization engine, and also the calculation of the surface utilization rate, that is an index very important in the supply chain management in order to assess the correct usage of resources. We can also assess other points, other factors like energy, distances, and user ratings, for example. The third aspect that could be residing in the cloud platform is the decision-making module. So in this module, you will find all the strategy related to production and all the solutions that manufacturers have adopted. This is another beautiful picture that I took from a paper called Cloud Computing for Cloud Manufacturing, Benefits and Limitations. Essentially is a repetition of the other ones, but with better explanations, with better descriptions. For example, in the first level, we observe all the traditional stages in the production management, in the production process, with the design, product, monitoring, maintenance, and inventory. In the second level, we observe the cloud computing technology, so the cloud-based storage, the computing and data analysis, so another service, another possibility of the cloud computing. And also we observe the data and information sharing. In the third level, we see this meaningful possibility, this meaningful option of data exchange with elements related to machine parameters, with process data, with monitoring data, with design code, control code, and maintenance. In the final layer, in the final echelon, we can see an environment construed by aggregating manufacturing resources that, for example, share this standard called MT Connect. And it's a technical standard to retrieve process information from numerical controlled machines. So in this way, we can construct an aggregated environment formed by the correct usage and correct functioning of machines, of numerical controlled machines, for example, through the utilization of this technical standard called MT Connect. These are the first benefits of our modern manufacturing practices that we can quote. It enables access to real-time information anytime, anywhere. It offers on-demand services, highly flexible and scalable for your business. It increases the ability to manage new customer demands in a proactive and fast way. It facilitates easy integration with other applications and offers seamless transmission of data between them. It helps managers to connect across system boundaries, but also across different physical locations. Another image took from a scientific paper that is called Strengthening the Competitiveness and Sustainability of a Semiconductor Manufacturer with Cloud Manufacturing. So with this diagram, with this cake diagram, we have 5 groups of benefits. The first is the group of cost savings, because this technology of cloud computing inserted in the manufacturing reduces the capital investment and reduces the costs associated with usage. The second group of benefits foresee a mechanism of parallel processing It can foster, it can provide immediate assistance from the system vendor. It can be, this technology can be accessed from any time, any place, and it can contribute to the collection of computing power, as we were saying in our second or third slide. The other group of benefits concerns the additional data analysis capabilities, as you can simply imagine. Data analysis capability is provided by the system vendor, and the analysis of accelerated data is served with the power of distributed computing. The fourth group of benefits of cloud manufacturing relates to its flexibility. We have flexibility in capital investments, interoperability, the possibility of scale the economy of the business, and also the flexibility in capacity expansion. The last group of benefits is the group of making a partnership, of extending relationships of the firm, of the company. So the equipment supplier will act as a mediator, and the system vendor becomes a service provider. These are another picture, very simple picture that explains rapidly to us the main challenges up to now known associated to cloud manufacturing. There are challenges that we can say that are strictly technical, because this kind of technology requires very specialized personnel. There are also some concerns related to costs, because sometimes some services, some cloud services are expensive, even if this business model is paid when you use it. The third concern is the regulation, regards the regulation aspect, in the sense that agreements, contracts between customers and vendors, between suppliers and vendors, for example, have to be more thoroughly controlled, more thoroughly defined. And the last aspect to be kept in mind, to be kept in high consideration, is the security aspect, in order to fight against data breach. Let's watch this interesting video that regards the cloud manufacturing technology finally.
The manufacturing is a pillar industry of the national economy. As a service-oriented, networked, and intelligent mode of manufacturing, cloud manufacturing provides powerful abilities of resource aggregation and on-demand services, pools all kinds of resources into the cloud through Internet and Internet of Things, creates a fully shared virtual resource pool and a network of manufacturing capabilities in the cloud, offers services at any time to enterprises or individuals with novel ideas or orders but lacking resources or capabilities. It is possible, through the cloud manufacturing platform, to find the most suitable service providers, or even set up a dynamic collaboration service chain or a virtual enterprise providing users with professional and customized services. The cloud manufacturing platform supports not only the optimal allocation of supply and demand resources, but also overall management of the whole life cycle of products in the cloud. For example, you can rent cloud design software to complete innovative design through online collaboration, realize remote control of manufacturing processing equipment like 3D printers through the cloud platform, or complete more complex manufacturing tasks by establishing virtual factories and workshops in the cloud platform, etc. The accumulation and integration of data and knowledge in the cloud platform will form the manufacturing industry big data with infinite value, which can help us to understand and manipulate the deep-seated laws of the manufacturing industry, inspire collective wisdom for mass innovation, and provide strong support of think tank for a creative industry. The in-depth integration between cloud manufacturing and traditional manufacturing will create a new cloud service industry chains such as cloud design, cloud simulation, cloud production, cloud finance, cloud logistics and big data, and promote manufacturing industry into a new era which is customized, socialized, environment-friendly, and intelligent.
So the takeaway of this 9th module is that the modern manufacturing is based around the cloud computing technology, and for this reason it's called cloud manufacturing. So, Juliana, I don't know if there are questions in the Q&A section of the participants.
Yes, so if anyone has any question for Claudia for these models, I will suggest to do it now. So we're gonna have like 5 minutes break, right?
Yes, yes.
Before we start the 10th model.
No, for the moment we have no.
So people is asking for the second code. The second code will be on the 10th model.
Yes, yes. Okay. So Juliana, may I proceed with the 10th module? Given that I see no, okay. There is a question. Some comments about the legal part regarding data ownership. Yes, it's a very interesting aspect to be considered, because as you can imagine, there are some regulations aspect that have to be more thoroughly regulated, more thoroughly accomplished. And in fact, the ownership of data exchanged is an aspect that have to be taken in strict consideration, because when you exchange data, there is always a third party that intervenes in your daily operations, daily management of your business. So I think that it's a very important part to be observed from the legal point of view, from the regulating point of view. Comments about the use of redundancy of data storage. Cloud alone may not be safe. Yes, we have specified that surely the cloud environment could represent a very enlightening technology for data backup and also for recovery in case of data breach. But it's not always the case, and it's not always sufficient. Yeah. So yes. So in a certain sense, we can say that still today the problems of redundancy is something to be kept in consideration, in high consideration for the sake of our business. even if the cloud computing technology is well known for the possibility of backup and recovering data after a data breach. Okay. For the moment, I stop the answers to other questions because I have to run with the 10th module, guys. But I will take again your questions after the end of the last module, so don't worry.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so with the module thanks, we will study the metaverse and the disruption of the virtual worlds. It will be a very entertaining lesson with some practical aspects related also to movies, to TV series, and so on. So we will play a little bit. Just a moment. Okay. So the introduction to the metaverse, we can speak about a simple introduction to this kind of technology. The metaverse is a concept of a persistent online 3D universe that combines multiple different virtual spaces. So in a certain sense, you can think about it as a future iteration of the internet. The metaverse will allow users to work, to meet, to play, to socialize together in these special 3D spaces. The metaverse isn't fully in existence yet, but some platforms already contain metaverse-like elements. For example, video games currently provide the closest metaverse experience on the market. Developers, in fact, have pushed the boundaries of what a game is through hosting in-game events and also through the possibility of creating real virtual economies. Although they are not required, cryptocurrencies can be a great fit for a metaverse because they allow the creation of a digital economy with different types of tokens and different types of virtual collectibles, like, for example, the NFT. The metaverse will also benefit from the use of crypto wallets. We have to specify that they are not strictly related, but the crypto wallets could be another enhancement of the metaverse world. Also, blockchain technology, another topic that we have already studied. Blockchain technology can provide a transparent and reliable system of governance of this digital world. When we look to the already specialized, already done experiments, we are aware that big tech giants are trying to lead the way. However, the decentralized aspects of the blockchain industry is permitting also to small players to participate in the metaverse development. In this slide, I wanted to give you an entertaining sense of the first virtual worlds developed. In fact, in the left part of the screen, you can see the protagonist of the TV series, The Big Bang Theory, no? That is Sheldon Cooper. And Sheldon Cooper, in this case, is showing his preferred a text-based role-playing game that is called Zork. So text-based role-playing games that were operated through time-sharing systems in a certain way prefigured the explosion of the imaginative world-built environment of, for example, an adventure, Avatar, and other games on Play-Doh. So we can mention the first MUDs, so the multi-user dungeons, and other online environments of the 1970s, 1980s. When the capacity in terms of graphical, digital, and virtual world exploded, we can say that we assisted to a Cambrian revolution, a Cambrian explosion of diversity in the 1980s and 1990s with the birth of many genres. For example, first-person shooters, fantasy role-playing games, simulators, game tables, and all other different social virtual worlds. But when we spoke for the first time of the metaverse intended as a digital world, for example, I created this slide inputting a timeline provided by Insider Intelligence, and through it we can discover that even if in 1999 we didn't have yet the metaverse environment, with the release of the movie The Matrix, we already observed two particular characters that spoke about a simulated reality in a world that was controlled by other entities, no? Until the choosing option between the blue pill and the red pill. So this is, in a certain sense, first experiments in the metaverse conception with some books and some movies that we already have in the 2000, for example. Later, we assisted to the explosion of the creation of metaverse environments, thanks to, for example, Facebook, that has changed its name in Meta, and that it announced in 2021, it announced its commitment to the metaverse. But what is the metaverse? The metaverse means different things to different people. Some believe that it's a digital playground for kids. Other thinks that it has the potential to be a commercial space for companies and for customers. And we have to say that both interpretations are valid. The metaverse is best characterized as an evolution of today's internet, so a reality in which we are deeply immersed in, and it represents a convergence of digital technology to combine and extend the reach and use of cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, augmented reality and virtual reality, spatial computing, and other kinds of technology. So in a certain sense, the enterprise metaverse may lead to the possibility of unlocking even more opportunities, even more business opportunities beyond the simple service as a virtual place where people meet and interact with each other. Let's watch this introductory video of the BBC.
What actually is the metaverse? Well, if we think of the internet as something that we look at, the metaverse is a version of the internet that we're inside. The idea is that we will experience the metaverse as an avatar, a virtual version of ourselves that we control as we explore this new online frontier. But what will we actually do?
Okay, so Boz, here we are in what might be considered a representation of what the metaverse could be.
Yeah, for us, the metaverse is a spatial construct, as opposed to the previous web, which was really a very linear kind of 2D flat thing. We want this one to be immersive. Now, of course, it doesn't mean it has to be virtual reality. It could also just be on a phone or on a desktop computer.
You might have noticed that we're using the tools of the metaverse to create a good portion of this item. My avatar has been created by a couple of companies, Ready Player Me and Oz. They already create tools for people to make avatars from a photo. It's this virtual version of us which will travel between online experiences in any metaverse.
And then over time, what I'm most excited about is an economy there. And I mean, economy not just of digital goods, sure, and entertainment, that's great, but also services. In an immersive environment, I'm going to have an avatar. I'm going to need a stylist. I'm going to have a home space.
Microsoft has adapted its workplace meeting software Teams for the metaverse by creating a system called Mesh. It's designed to work with a variety of different devices, including virtual and augmented reality. AR, as it's known, projects graphics on top of the real world using headsets like Microsoft's HoloLens or mobile phones.
There's quite a few people that have got fatigued by having to have video chat meetings and things of that nature, and that they realise they now crave human contact.
Human communication is about 5%, speech is about 95% everything else. I've been in my living room with the entire team around the table, right? Making eye contact, where all the gestures are coming into the right place. So it changes completely the call it the screen fatigue we're feeling today.
The next piece of the metaverse puzzle isn't just about seeing these virtual worlds, but feeling them as well. Meta has revealed that it's been working on a glove that will let the user feel sensations, like holding an object. The glove has a number of sensors that measure the wearer's movements, and air pockets across the glove surface inflate to create sensation. These gloves aren't quite ready for prime time yet, but they're an indicator of the kind of research that's going on behind the scenes.
Okay, so we have seen an immersive reality through different technologies, for example, virtual reality, augmented reality, extended reality, and also physical devices like headphones or smartphones or headsets, through which we can experiment a novel world, a digital world in which we can construct our new life, for example. So a very novel approach, not only to our daily life, but also a novel approach for business.
What actually?
Okay, but what are the elements of a metaverse? In this picture that I took from the company Gartner, we see a basic description of elementary technologies, elementary tools that in their entirety form the domain of the metaverse. We have digital currency, digital marketplaces, digital commerce, non-fungible tokens, digital infrastructure, device independence, the gaming environment, the digital assets, some concerts, social and entertaining events that are developed in the new world, in the digital world, a new way of doing online shopping, novel workplaces, novel areas of social media. The creation of humans in the digital version, and also new models of natural language processing. In this other framework developed by John Radoff, that was very involved in writing about the metaverse, you can say 7 fundamental layers of the metaverse. The layer of the experience, of the discovery, of the creator economy, of the spatial computing, the decentralization, the human interface, and the essential infrastructure. So all these layers constitute the field of the metaverse, and for each of these layers there are specific applications, specific goals, specific we can say advancement, technological advancements provided. For example, for the sake of experience, we can mention games, social media, esports, theaters, and online shopping. For the sake of discovering, you can observe new forms of ADV networks, new forms of giving ratings, or new stores, and also new agents. For the part that concerns the creator economy, we have novel design tools, novel asset markets, novel commerce, and also a new particular workflow that was unused before, unused and unknown just some years ago. For the spatial computing field, we can think to 3D engineers, to virtual reality, augmented reality, and extended reality as enabling technologies that we were talking about earlier. For the decentralization part, we can use edge computing, artificial intelligence agents, microservices, and blockchain. For the human interface aspect, there's the possibility of commercializing, of developing and commercializing more deeply in the future our smartphones, especially for this usage, for the usage of metaverse, smart glasses, wearables, gestures, and neural new models. And for the infrastructure part, we can apply protocols related to 5G, Wi-Fi, 6G, cloud computing, new graphic processing units, and other new materials to be invented and to be commercialized in the future. This is another picture similar to the previous one, but that regards the artificial intelligence potential applications in the metaverse universe. also with these 7 layers of experience of development. For the first layer, there are smart, hyper-personalized games that could be used, personal experience, and also the possibility of new forms of education, and also the welfare assistant. For the discovering part, we can mention the intelligent network. For the creator economy, artificial intelligence intended as a creative partner to use in our commercial endeavor. For the spatial computing, we can quote artificial intelligence for immersive digital worlds, so especially for this kind of technology related to the metaverse. For the decentralization part, we can reason, we can study, we can find new ways of concluding enhanced smart contracts. For the human interface, we will have inclusive user interfaces, and for the last, the tangible layer of the metaverse, that is the infrastructure, we can mention the artificial intelligence operations in the domain of IT, so for in the domain of information technology. Other important elements to be kept in high consideration if you intend to develop your metaverse for games, for business efforts. For example, there is the level of infrastructure to create with the new connectivity technologies, the human interface, very important for our human usage, because we have to create a very reality that is similar, or sometimes it's better, to the reality that we daily use in our lives. For the decentralization aspect, it's true that it shouldn't be any specific entity that control the metaverse, exactly as it happens for the physical world, in which there is essentially nobody that controls our lives. For the spatial computing, it would be essential to create sophisticated 3D visualization and modeling frameworks. For the creator economy, we can say that the digital environments will be a fruitful environment for this kind of economy, with the assistance of artificial intelligence. For the exploring part, we can say that it constitutes another crucial aspect in the future stages of metaverse growth. And for the experience part, if we are developing a metaverse, we can say that the metaverse future will entail a wide range of experiences that have to be immersive, enjoyable, attractive, and very exciting. This is a picture developed, this is a picture construed by this author, Frank Fischer, that is very expert in the field of quantum advanced intelligence. And he said that the metaverse is composed by 6 sub-domains, 6 sub-elements. The first component is the component of global members with a fostering of diversity, of equity, and of social inclusion. For the second metaverse component, he studied the possibility of spreading convenient and smart devices, like, for example, eyewear and wearables. For the component related to quantum advanced intelligence and 6G network, he said that this kind of technologies have to be strictly related, strictly aggregated to multiverse platforms. The other part to be taken in with strict attention is the regulation, and we had a very beautiful question from you guys concerning this aspect. That question was about the regulation of cloud computing. It's true, but this problem of regulation that has to be strict could be applied also to the metaverse environment. So there has to be ethics and effectual governance of this domain, because the dangers are limitless, I dare to say. There are perils related to harassment, to psychological violence, and so on, but we will see them later. The fourth part, the fourth component of this metaverse immersive environment is the digital ecosystem. A digital ecosystem created by the metaverse that has to be preoccupied with the sustainable aspect, with sustainability, with the cyber security, and also with the possible avenue of fostering the introduction of central banks' digital currencies, for example. The last aspect, the last component of this framework of the immersive metaverse is the quality content. In the sense that the user has to be immersed in this 3D mixed reality experience, so the utilization of technologies will be deep, will be extensive, and for some time I think it will be also expensive. These are some first domains that we can study in the regard of the metaverse. In fact, we have already applications of the metaverse in the healthcare, in the entertainment, in the workplaces, in smart cities, and in the field of education. In fact, in this other and more extended design, we can observe that metaverse applications are already in use in various commercial sectors, in gaming, in tourism, in education and learning, in remote working, in real estate, in healthcare, in banking and finance, and also in social media and entertainment. In this other figure, we observe an explosion of the other points, no, of the other domains for the applications of the metaverse. We can have enhanced healthcare for the population, enhanced marketing strategies. For example, if you want to work in this business field, we can arrive to have real digital real estates. We can have enhanced digital economies. We can also speak about the possibility of design simulation with all the technological aspects involved, and we will have an environment of collaborative learning and, above all, an immersive experience of commerce. This is a very explanatory figure that shows the potential applications already in use of the metaverse in the healthcare domain. And in the healthcare domain, with 5 sub-specializations in the medical therapeutics, in surgeries, in medical education, in patient monitoring, and in medical diagnosis. So there are already metaverse applications for all these 5 sub branches of the medicine, of the healthcare field. And these applications that sometimes are still in the experimenting phase, but sometimes are already in use. We can observe virtual counseling, gesture-based assistance, nanobot surgery, virtual experiments, drug discovery, alert responses, vital monitoring of the patients, for example, holographic imaging for analysis of patients, for exams of patients, and also new ways of doing biopsy, so the virtual biopsy without any pain associated with it. In this slide, I have put a very elementary scheme of the metaverse use cases, but as you know, the use cases illustrate in a more deepened way the potentiality of a technology, of a situation, of an experiment, of a tool in general. In this case, we have the metaverse in the center of our today discussion. And in fact, with the metaverse use case, we can tangibly speak about the creation of virtual workspaces. We can observe the creation of virtual space for learning, especially for persons that reside very far from the physical schools, so a very important part in the learning domain. We can have a form of tourism that could be interpreted as the virtual tour of the world, for example. So the possibility of visiting places without the physical transportation, for example. For the part that concerns the commerce experience, we can stress the result of these beautiful and sometimes astonishing immersive realities that in a certain way push us towards online shopping, for example. And there are still some advanced there are already some advanced use cases of blockchain that unite the blockchain technology and the metaverse advancement, for example. And also concerning the social media platforms, with the use of metaverse, you can simply understand that we will have new places for meeting among ourselves. This slide represents a resume of the potential benefits of the metaverse. This is a scheme constructed by Othena, by the website Othena. The first benefit could be the possibility of overcoming human resources challenges. In fact, the metaverse can help to solve remote working challenges by providing a virtual workplace, a virtual office. We can quote about we can talk about the possibility of improving medical training, so the metaverse can provide real life training scenarios without putting the lives of patients at risk. We will have more accessible healthcare because it will be combined with the telehealth tools. So in this sense, metaverse can help doctors meet with patients without physical encounters, so without other further expenditure of the healthcare national systems, for example. We will have a more sustainable tourism because the metaverse offers realistic, in-person, immersive experiences without the need for physical transportation. We already have monetization opportunities because metaverse already uses NFT to promote, so non-fungible tokens, to promote trade and the exchange of goods. And the last potential benefit of the metaverse is represented by the boost that could be brought to the real estate domain, because the real estate domain can be combined with the non-fungible tokens, and in this way the metaverse will create a marketplace for real estate properties and other new kinds of market. As we were saying, and also as you were saying, guys, the metaverse, this kind of technology like cloud computing, but also the metaverse could entail some dangers. And we have to be well aware about these kind of dangers, because insofar, in some aspects, we don't have proper solutions until now. It doesn't mean that we won't have solutions in the future, but for the moment we have to put a strict echelon of attention on our part, on our side. The first peril is related to the datafication of everything. So every piece of information of our lives could be transformed in piece of data. It could be the danger of an increased inequality, for example. Also the danger of the existence of bad bots that controls the web. The internet could be seen as more polarized, for example. There could be some possibility regarding an artificial intelligence that we can define biased, for example. There will be maybe health issues of persons that we will be all day long in front of monitors, in front of technological devices, for example. Maybe the diffusion of the problem of hikikomori. I don't know if you ever heard this kind of sociological phenomenon that was born in Japan. But anyway, this kind of isolation, we can say, could be strictly related to health issues of population. The data security, as we were saying, is another aspect that until now has to be in a very strict consideration and treated with the utmost attention for the security of our data and our lives. I dare to say, we can have the possibility of finding also imposter avatars. Why not? And as I was saying before, there is also the risk of abusing, of harassment, and of diffusion of illegal content. So please be careful when you enter this digital, astonishing, and entertaining world. Please be careful. And there is another problem, obviously, related to our privacy, because maybe our privacy will be interpreted as a mere illusion. So be careful, guys, when you enter this kind of digital environments. Anyway, from the business point of view, it's important also to convey a message to you of potential business opportunities, because up to now $120 billion of investments have been already raised by this industry. So venture funds of venture capital, of private equity, of businesses, of companies that have found resources through mergers and acquisitions, for example, and also there have been resources dedicated to this kind of projects thanks to internal corporate investments. So until now, this huge amount of investments have been raised by the industry, and this means also, guys, that you can find easily new jobs. You can also easily create your digital space in the sense of an economical approach. So you can also create your digital space with a monetary intent. I mean, so you have to be confident that this specific business domain will continue to increase its investments, and at the same time you can be sure that you can find new jobs and new business opportunities for you. Let's reflect by watching this explanatory video and this last video of the CBS News concerning the Metaverse technology.
In Money Watch, Wall Street ended the week on a positive note. The Dow Jones rallied after dropping at the start of the trading day. The industrial finished the day up more than 250 points.
Meantime, the S&P 500 also finished up around 1%, and the Nasdaq had a strong end to the week of trading, up nearly 2%. Now, we want to bring in Accenture Chief Technology Officer Paul Doherty. His company just released an extensive report about the metaverse and its impact on the business world. Great to chat with you, Paul. We just noted there, or I should note, that tech stocks made a big run today. What role is the metaverse generally playing in the stock market? Because we're speaking about the concept of the metaverse, not the Facebook product that so many people may be familiar with.
You know, that's exactly right. And thanks for having me on the program. I really appreciate it. And, you know, there's a fog of confusion around the metaverse is what I'm finding when I talk to companies and to people about it. Because on the one hand, you hear about moves in the metaverse from JP Morgan Chase or McDonald's or CVS and others. And then on the other hand, you hear about, you know, new companies. You hear about Roblox. You hear about Bored Apes, you know, Coinbase and others. And people are struggling to understand what this means for business. And, you know, what we're stating with the, you know, the vision, the report we put out is that the metaverse is big for business. It's really, you know, going to define the future and impact every part of every business. It's not just for tomorrow. It's happening today. We're already in Accenture operating what we believe is one of the largest business metaverses called One Accenture Park for our employees. And we've launched the Metaverse Continuum Business Group, which is a group we're putting together to help accelerate the tremendous interest we're seeing from our clients and from companies across industries and around the world to move into the metaverse.
So, Paul, give us some more concrete details. How is the metaverse changing the way businesses are or should be operating?
Yeah, you know, one way to understand the metaverse and to look at it, which helps with that question, is it's really about the future of the internet. When people talk about the metaverse, you'll sometimes, you know, hear Web3. Web 1 being Google and you know, things like Google as a killer app in search. Web 2 being social and mobile and everything that happened. And we're seeing, you know, new technologies now creating a new future of the internet, and that's what's creating all this opportunity. It's blockchain and, you know, creating in technologies like that, creating the opportunity for cryptocurrencies, non-fungible tokens, new digital products you hear about, and more. And it's the idea of new shared spaces enabled by virtual reality and immersive experiences, and that's changing the way that companies are interacting with their customers. Think of, you know, Gucci with a non-fungible token, a digital product where they're selling a purse, you know, more in the metaverse than in a physical store. It's changing the way companies work, augmented workers, you know, maintaining factory equipment around the world using, using headsets to do things very differently. And it's like what we're doing in One Accenture Park. This year we'll onboard 150,000 Accenture employees using immersive technology in the metaverse, because not just because it's a good toy and a gadget, but because the science shows it's better for learning. The immersive learning allows people to retain information better, and people are forming connections and getting to meet each other, learn about our company, and build a culture through participating in the metaverse.
I think what excites people is the potential, what this could be. I mean, for a lot of people right now, though, it's annoying to wear a headset. It's a little foreign to them. And of course, you should never invest in something you don't understand. But for the sliver of folks who do get this and they want to invest and they want to get ahead, as you're suggesting, where should they begin?
I think there's a couple things to look at. One is looking at a lot of the digital giants of today will define how this moves into the future, the cloud companies and such. And it'll be about the device companies who manufacture the devices, because as you say, you don't want to wear one of these all day just yet, but there'll be tremendous innovation in the devices. And then it's also about anticipating who's going to build these new capabilities for the future. One way I'd look at it, though, is think about the industries that are going to be transformed from the metaverse and invest in those companies who are getting it early and getting it right, like some of the companies I mentioned a bit earlier, because this will transform business. And just like, in the Web 1 area, Google was the killer app, and Google transformed, a lot of, the tech industry. Amazon redefined e-commerce. The way to think about it is if you don't jump into this now, you may find yourself, outplaced by those companies that build these future worlds and define the roles of the future. And that's why, companies need to move now. And I think if you look at where to place your money, it's on those companies that are moving early and understanding how to shape this future world so that they're not left out of it.
All right, Paul Doherty, thank you very much for the clarity. I think I understand a little bit better. I think Errol is way ahead of me here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, so as the speaker was saying, the metaverse will happen in the future, but it is happening now. And you have seen that metaverse is happening in our daily lives with huge investments on the part of major companies. And for this scope, we can remember the investments of JP Morgan, of McDonald's, Facebook, Amazon, and other, for example, luxury brands like Gucci. So, guys, it's a very huge opportunities, not only for experiencing astonishing and immersive realities, but also for new business endeavors. So let's move on. Okay, we can wrap up our modules. In the 9th modules, we have introduced the technology of cloud computing. We have explained how does cloud computing work. We have described the types of cloud computing service. We have narrated some advantages and some disadvantages of cloud computing. And then once we have explained the central technology of cloud computing, we have entered into the description of cloud manufacturing. We have seen a timeline of the evolution of manufacturing systems. We have had a strategic vision for cloud manufacturing. We have studied the cloud manufacturing ecosystem. We have studied also the cloud manufacturing framework in case of smart networks. We have studied the configuration of cloud manufacturing platforms. We have specified the cloud manufacturing as enabled by cloud computing. We have also reasoned about cloud computing services benefits for modern factories, for modern manufacturing practices, and we have spoken about cloud manufacturing benefits and challenges. In the 10th module, we have introduced briefly the concept of the metaverse, and we have narrated also a brief history of the virtual worlds intended as the roots of the metaverse. We have also seen some examples of the beginnings of the metaverse in our past through books and movies. We have explained what is the metaverse. We have seen fundamental elements of a metaverse. We have studied the 7 layers of the metaverse and also the artificial potential applications in this domain. We have also illustrated other important elements if you want to develop the metaverse, if you want to be developers in this sector. We have also shown some elements. We have shown a framework composed of 6 metaverse components. We have illustrated real life applications of the metaverse and also in various sectors. And we have seen an image, a picture that described the potential applications of the metaverse in healthcare. We have discussed about metaverse use cases, so with specific practical approaches. We have explained what are the benefits of the metaverse and also the dangers of this technology. And ultimately, we have seen that a huge amount of investments has already been collected by the industry. As always, I grouped a bibliography for your sake, bibliography composed by journal articles, books, and websites. So guys, many thanks for your attention, and see you at the next master.